First and foremost, kita lang ang naay Institutionalized Council for Youth, SK, sa whole ASEAN countries. Pero hindi ganun kadali.
Yeah.
We need to focus on one sector before we can create change. When it comes to local, we need to make sure that we partner with local government units like barangay, like Purok leaders, especially the community leaders of the Sama Bajau. Kailangan natin makipag-usap sa mga key leaders doon. Kasi we cannot just do something because we think na it is the best for them.
Yeah. Kumbaga, ang kanina policy is for them. And then, here comes, wala dahil sila sa, kumbaga, process of crafting the policy. Wherein, when in fact, they are supposed to be part of it because it will definitely champion their rights way better, diba? Ang kana na policy is for them, pero
wala silang involvement in the making of that policy. So, how can it be for them, pero wala sila involvement in the making?
So, wala sila na-consult. We need to make sure that ibalik nato ang dignity sa ila. Basically, yes, we can't discount the things that are happening right now.
Yeah.
It is a first step towards development or inclusivity na gusto natin mahitabo. Inclusivity is not just accepting these people na para lang ma-check natin sa itong KPI para inclusive, diverse, and everything. Kailangan po natin mag-provide efficient support, as you have said, no? And nindot na siya na hopefully ang mga policymakers nato madunggan kung sa inyong mga ginaingon karon. Hopefully di nila ginagamit ilang power just to get votes from this vulnerable sector.
Ideal world na dyan kayo.
Ideal world na dyan siya.
Ano si Viking? Walay deadline na maging successful sa life. Pero kami, na may podcast. O karong May 30 na ang deadline. Anyway, today we're going to have our Panag-Istoryahanay sa Tulokapi. Pamuno, panahon, o pananaw. Maayong buntag ug madayaw Davao. Ako si Queenie.
O ako si Janelle.
Og kini nga podcast para sa mga gahig ulo
O gahig opinyon.
Kauban nato karon ang usa sa mga gahig ulo. Yes, pero gahig opinyon o gahig achievements sa life. Palakpakan nato ang atong guest speaker.
He's a branding and a political consultant, a marine conservationist, and an international youth leader, all rolled into one dynamic changemaker from Davao City. He co-founded Jezebel Philippines Incorporated, a youth-led NGO that empowers coastal and indigenous communities, especially our Sama Bajau brothers and sisters. In 2024, he was a District 3860 winner and a top 10 national finalist of Rotary Spaing Hechanova Youth Leadership Awards. He currently serves in the House of Representatives as a legislative staff and a youth coordinator for a party list, working behind the scenes on youth-centered policy. He's a youth ambassador of goodwill in the 48th SHIP for Southeast Asian and Japanese Youth Program, where he was elected overall leader of his discussion group subcommittee. And most recently, he joined Germany's prestigious Konrad Adenauer Stiftung Young Leaders Program. He's a proud Rotary actor who believes that everything he's learned must be shared with fellow youth leaders.
Let's welcome the always inspiring, ever passionate, and yes,
unapologetically marvelous and dainty, Miss Marvelous Dainty Camilo. Hello, good afternoon, sir.
First of all, sir, we are very thankful kasi you responded to our invitation.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Okay, today we're going to have Panag-Istoryahanay sa Tulokapi, Pamuno, Panahon, o Pananaw. So, our discussion for today will revolve around local leadership in a globalized world and empowering communities through education and action. So, before we formally start our Panag-Istoryahanay for today, we're going to have a kanang game, kanang
sort of an icebreaker lang, sir, para mawala ang nerves kamay. So, these words were prepared by our team. So, even us, di kayo may aware. So, kung sa ilang i-present na word. So, together with you, we will guess kung unsa ni siya ang mga words. And these words will introduce us to what's going to be our topic for today.
So this is an example. We're going to guess the word and then siguro paunhanay sa mga...
Kita talo.
Tapos sir, ang kanang mga pictures in the background. Another clue na siya kung unsa na nga word.
Ayan. Okay, ready? Are you ready, sir?
Let's go!
Okay, start. Alright. First one.
Inclusivity.
Oh!
Parang hindi na kaya nakaya. Okay.
Okay, next.
Indigenous people.
Correct. Another.
Leadership.
And then,
Contribution.
another. Na pa ba?
Conservation. Marine conservation.
Marine conservation. So these words, we are led to the first topic of this podcast.
The role of local leader in a global context. So, sir, as someone who has been in the international stage representing the Philippines, so we thought na ikaw jud ang best guest for this topic.
I don't think so. Hopefully.
Yeah. Alright, so let's start with asking, how does local leadership contribute to global goals and responsibilities?
Yes, so magseryoso na tayo. So siguro how local leaders contribute to global leadership. Kabalo manggita na naatay, pwede mong bisaya, di ba?
Yes.
Kabalo ta nga na ay Sustainable Development Goals ang United Nations, and of course na ay Philippine Youth Development Plan ang National Youth Commission, especially ang Philippines, wherein we are targeting different issues, especially when it comes to youth and sustainability. So basically, ang mga youth leaders na local, like sa mga volunteers, I hope na kamupod no mga volunteers sa inyong community, we create small piece of ripple. When I say small piece of ripple, para tayong mga pebbles, kung i-throw mo siya sa ocean, yes, gamay lang ang mga ripple na yung mabuhat, pero if daghan ta, we connect with each other, and at the same time we create a small change sa ating community that actually can help or contribute sa global na mga goals nato. So basically, for example, sa amo as Jezebel Philippines Incorporated, sa ating mga manonood, kung hindi niya pa po nabibisita ang aming page, we are Jezebel Philippines. So you can see that sa ating mga social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So basically, Jezebel means developing the youth with environmentally sustainable advocacies, building and empowering lives. So Jezebel siya. So basically, it is a marine conservation NGO that co-creates inclusive marine conservation initiatives with the people and the planet, especially the Sama Badjao community. Yun talaga ang aming partner. Have you seen Sama Badjaos?
We are briefly introduced sa different indigenous tribes, sir, kasi we have a subject called the
Philippine indigenous communities, but not really familiar po sa mga practices. Pero talking about inclusivity po, what comes into your mind when we say inclusivity?
Yes, when it comes to inclusivity naman, that's why Jezebel, i-ano ko lang siya, i-bridge ko lang siya. Jezebel is really focusing on this Sama Badjao community because kabalutahan, no? Even us, even me myself, na co-founder ko organization na Jezebel, nag-start din ang mga tao, especially mga Dabawen yung daghan mga Badjao diri ana. Giinain na nato ang mga Badjao na baho, hugawan, manlilimos. Pero that's why Jezebel exists, because we wanted to break this barrier. We wanted to break this stigma. Kay kanipod ng mga Badjao, naabot sila ilang culture-based livelihood, like fishing, pearl vending, boat making, and we need to think, ngano sila nalimos karon? No? Is it because naais panghitabo na nahitabo sa ilaha? Isn't it because of struggles na wala na sila puyanan karon. Just recently, katong gibuhat atong coastal road, I believe coastal road is very important sa ato, especially that the faster the transportation, the faster the economic will grow. But it has displaced almost 10 Sama Bajau families, no? Tagaan sila og relocation area pero sa bukid. If we come to think of it, if we have consultation within this community, dapat nakabalutan na ang ilang culture-based livelihood is fishing. Nga nang ibutang nato sila sa mga bukid. So basically, that's how we contribute as local leaders in terms of discussion sa global goals na isa lang ang Badyaw sa mga examples of how struggles or kaning mga issues, no, sa lokal maka-affect yun sa mga tao.
So, tama ba sir na ang Sama Bajau community are considered to be sea gypsies?
Yes.
Yes, correct. So, on our end po, sir, when we talk about inclusivity, specifically in the aspect or in the field of education, we consider this as something na
core sa mo ang
sa mo because just to share, we are specifically teaching or learning about how to teach learners with special needs, and although we aim to, kanang gwapo kaayo ang idea sa inclusivity, but there are aspects of it na we tend to ma-overlook na because of the practices na although gwapo kayo ang goal, but the implementation is quite dili kayo siya sustainable and easy to achieve. Moving forward, have there been any collaborations with NGOs or government agencies or even educational institutions that support the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals?
Yes, basically we have partnered with different organizations in order for us to address this. Kaya nga ang JASABAL is inclusive marine conservation efforts because we wanted to include the youth and the indigenous people, specifically the Sama Bajau community. So yes, we have partnered with YSEALI. If you know YSEALI, it is US-based government initiative. We also have the Asia Foundations. We also partnered with USAID and various partners that can actually help us. Pero in terms of international, sila yun. Pero when it comes to local, we need to make sure that we partner with local government units like barangay, like Purok leaders, especially the community leaders of the Sama Bajau. Kailangan natin makipag-usap sa mga key leaders doon. Kasi we cannot just do something because we think na it is the best for them. No? Kasi magiging emic development siya. When we talk about development, and we talk about development of the community, and we partnered with different organizations, feeling natin, tayo na yung hero, we are the Messiah. But basically, that's not true. We need to consult unsa ba ilahang gusto na development. Kay kita sa Sama Bajau community, ay magpabuhat kita building, kay mao kita development din na para sa ato. Mali na siya. We need to make sure that these stakeholders will be part of the process of decision making. Basig di ay ang development sa ilaha kay gamay na balay. Gamay na pambot para sa ilang pangista. And that's where we wanted to have collaborations with different institutions like government, NGOs, and one of the best para sa ako, daghan na mag-give me og na partnership. Pero ang sa ako ay with JCI, Davao Gulf, of Davao Occidental, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you, Jen. We have collaborated to provide 5 motorized bangka to the Sama Bajau community. And happy kayo sila.
Okay. I'm curious ako, sir, why the Sama Bajau community? Not specific. Why that?
Okay. So, ngano Sama Bajau community man, first, like in terms of social relations, no, or sila mo daw pinaka-discriminated na indigenous peoples diri sa Davao. Even sa 10 tribe, 1 vibe, makisama na lang sila sa sama. Pero dili gid sila recognized gid sa ato ang city as part of indigenous people sa Davao City. Second is that because nag-start mo gud ang Jezebel Philippines, me with my co-founder or friend, nag-istorya mi tupad sa kaning Rojas Night Market. Tapos ba na ikanal dira? Kani bang mga establishments diri asa padulong ilahang mga hugaw,
waste,
diba? Like water wastes. Basically, padulong siya sa Rojas Night Market Canal.
Yeah.
And this Rojas Night Market Canal siya. Nahugaw siya. Asa ni padulong na kanal? Diretso siya sa Davao Gulf, sa atong dagat. Okay lang siya kung naamong tayo water waste system. No? Kung nalimpyuhan na siya before siya nakaadto sa atong dagat. Pero wala. Diretso lang siya. And yes, basically, nganong sama ba dyan? Because they are the indigenous peoples of the sea. And kabalita, indigenous people, sila atong partner para magprotekta sa ato ang mga karagatan. And even other indigenous peoples, they protect their homelands.
So, curious na po going apart, sir, as the co-founder of Jezebel, na ba kayo plan nga to take this advocacy internationally since dapil man ka o mga international collaborations or na ba kayo mga giapilan nga mga international conventions that can help you to establish more sa imuhang
kumbaga maka-touch pa or kumbaga mas wider ang imuhang avenue
scope,
of,
Going back to your first question, kung unsa ba mabuhat sa local leaders. Basically, nag-start din sa community level gid. Pero, nag-aadto mi og mga schools sharing these things, nag-aadto mi mga barangay in partnership with Sangguniang Kabataan. And then, we entered National Youth Commission YOUR program para maka-appeal mi sa Local Youth Development Council sa Davao. Basically, we are part of the monitoring and nag-guide sa mga Sangguniang Kabataan sa whole Davao City. And basically, we create like policies for the youth. And hopefully, ang ginakuan dyan para sa mga sama pa dyan. And then, after that, we have also partnered with Mindanao-wide until na Philippine-wide na siya, nag-appeal mi og mga different na mga symposium, training, wherein ang wag yung di-share kung unsa ba ka-importante ang sama badyaw and our marine conservation efforts. And that's the reason why siguro na na-appeal ta, isa ta sa na-appeal o nahimo og Youth Ambassador of Goodwill sa Pilipinas, sa Ship for Southeast Asian and Japanese Youth Program. It is actually a Japan plus ASEAN kung asa nagpuyo mi sa usa ka cruise ship for almost 2 months and then dito agi-share na ang mga advocacies.
So, ang kanin bang imong interaction with the said event or organization, specific lang po ba siya sa mga indigenous community or may iba pang parts sa vulnerable and mga PWDs na natatouch din ng kumbaga advocacy niyo po?
Sa amin naman, gusto ko sanang sagutin siya na yes, lahat ng mga vulnerable and marginalized sectors ay kasama sa amin. Pero hindi ganun kadali.
Yeah.
We need to focus on one sector before we can create change, no? Kasi pag gusto natin i-save ang world, hindi natin kaya yun. We need to change ourselves first before we change the world. And that's the reason why nakafocus tayo sa Sama Batyaw lang. Pero kahit sinasabi natin lang and one lang siya, indigenous community lang siya, I believe it echoes to other advocates na hopefully gawin din nila ito. Mag-advocate din sila sa ibang mga sektor, especially the PWD.
Yes.
And so basically gusto ko sabihin yes, pero I just want to be honest with the integrity natin na gusto natin magsimula sa pinakamaliit na sektor.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the first part no, of our podcast. Before we proceed with the second part, of course, may circular words pa rin sir. Balik tayo pa. Listen up naman eh. Okay, let's proceed with the second part of our topic for today, which is addressing grassroots concerns and creating lasting impact. So, same pa rin sir. Let's try to guess the first, the image.
Ayan. So, yan.
Yeah.
Alam naman, concert.
Concerns. Okay, next. Policies. Okay.
Paano to eclipse?
Educational access.
Educational access.
And
Legislation.
And subjective. Bakit ka na natin subjective? Let's see. Okay, we are now we will now talk about addressing grassroots concerns and creating lasting impact. So, just to like touch katong word kaganina na policies, you're also part, we've heard that you are also part of the House of Representatives Legislative Staff.
Wow, ang galing naman mag-research.
Legislative staff. So, what, kumbaga, how does it work, sir, for you? Anong nangyayari sa
mga ginagawa na.
So,
basically, when it comes to legislation, meron akong tatlong branches na ginagawa. So basically, sa House of Representatives, it is actually national. With Local Youth Development Council, it is focusing on Davao City. And I have co-founded the Davao Young Leaders Congress. It is People, Policy, and Prosperity. Wherein tinutulungan namin ang mga kabataan sa buong Davao region on how to create their own project proposals, how to create their own business, startup, plan, and at the same time, how to create policies. So basically, every year yun. Hopefully, meron tayo this year. Para yun, Davao Young Leaders Congress. Pero ano pang ginagawa namin sa House of Representatives or sa HOR? Ako naman, hindi naman ako doon sa national talaga. Dito ako sa local natin. Kasi I am serving like one of our Congress men sa Pilipinas. So, we suggest policies. Sa akin naman, as a youth coordinator, I suggest policies that is youth-centered. So basically, hindi naman ako yung makakagawa kasi meron pa yung ibang staff.
Yeah.
So ako, consultant lang ako. If ever the congressman or the policymaker would ask, I have something no, na masabi sa kanya na galing talaga din sa problema ng mga kabataan.
Okay. So let's try to connect that that role of yours, sir, to one of the issues that it was mentioned sa Article 4.3 sa UNCRPD, the United Nations Conventions on the Rights of Persons with Disability, na one of the stated is crucial role of state parties in consulting with actively involving persons with disabilities in the development and implementation of legislation and policies. And now, Philippine Report plans 2018 and 2015, they say na padayon ongoing need to revisit and improve laws and policies to ensure the full inclusion of PWD. So, similar to what you have said, sir, kumbaga, how those na kumbaga ang kanina policy is for them, and then here comes wala dai sila sa kumbaga process of crafting the policy, wherein when in fact they are supposed to be part of it because it will definitely champion their rights way better, diba? Kumbaga, ang kana na policy is for them, pero
wala silang involvement in the making of that policy. So, how can it be for them, pero wala sila involvement in the making?
So, sila na-consult.
So, kumbaga, relating that to your context or to your experiences, sir, naa ba yung mga sama badyaw individuals or those part of the community that were
involved in the process
of
Jezebel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. basically, thank you so much. Nakita na to sa ato ang senators karon wala may PWD. Even sa ato mga councilors, wala may PWD. Sa mga congressmen, wala siguro yung PWD, dili ko sure, no? Kaya PWD, dili lang man sa na makita. Pero, sa amo as a Jezebel, we have Council of Elders. Kung asa, kani sila ang different stakeholders na dito ang key leader from the Sama Bajau community, na ay key leader from academe, environmentalist, anthropologist, and they should be part of the process. No? And since naman tayo Council of Elders, kanigid sila ang ato ang ginakonsol. Kaya sa amo sa Jezebel namin Council of Elders sa taas, sa baba namin board members, and sa baba namin executive officers. So basically, Council of Elders are the consultants. Dito na appeal ang mga Sama Bajau community, especially kay dili mo nato sila gusto ipa-volunteer na kana maglihok gid sila. Kaya sometimes gusto nato sila i-appeal gid sa organizing, pero at the same time kabalo pod sila nga limited lang pod ang ilang mahatag na oras. So that's why naa sila sa consultation. Para kabalo ta kung sila ang murag head. Like basically sila ang murag ulo kung unsa ba ang need sa community. And then sa board members nato, dito na ang mga different people na magbuhat sa mga policies and everything. And executive officers, dito na ang naga-implement. So basically, katong mga Sama Bajau community nato na mga leaders na sila sa head or utok sa organization. And katong board members sila ang murag heart. And atong executive officers mo sila ang kamot. So basically, they are part of the process.
Okay, so in relation to the goal of, or I mean the process of Jezebel Philippines, correct me if I'm wrong, sir, you are focusing on the sustainable development and through marine conservation and other pa na mga initiatives for them. Now, I wanted to, curious lang ko kung sila ba, effective ba sa community ang kana na mga advocacy knowing na they, kumbaga, personally, gusto na po nila ba na mag-venture out and other means of living, kumbaga, hindi na sila sa dagat, where even in fact, o dyan na ilang, kumbaga, identity, gypsies. How do you deal with it, sir, na the community, ato na sila and dito na sila sa other na
parang dili sila makulong anak nga ano po
livelihood.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about livelihood, right?
Yeah.
So karon manggod ang isa sa mga research na gibuhat pod sa Jezebel Philippines, especially with my co-founder, no, ay ang study about seas to streets.
Seas to streets.
So basically, our Sama Bajau community, sa dagat sila, di ba?
Yeah.
But as you can see right now, na sila sa street. They are street peddlers. Nagabaligya o ukay-ukay, nasanina, sapatos, or whatnot. So basically, sa ato, walang punta dito ato police, but to observe, no? How this process or how time flies so fast na ma-change na po ng ilang mga gusto sa life. So basically, if you are asking me about mong specific na question,
like effective pa ba ang advocacy sa
so sa akuan man muli advocacy nga dili maka-help, dili maka-contribute. Pero when it comes to like helping the community, daghan kaayo og mga naga-dole out lang. When you say dole out, nag-ato dito hatag, okay, gawas. So basically, kapoy na po ang ato ang mga, no? Isa sa ato mga istorya-storya sa ilaha, mura lang siya og nahimo na kaning kinahatagan ng meaning yung palit na hawak mo. Mao na ang challenge sa ato ng mga advocates na hopefully, no, dili lang nato sila tan-awon as beneficiaries. We see them as partners, no? Kung naatay hatag dito, hopefully makahatag po sa ilaha og training or like input. Di lang tamo dito na maghatag ta og bugas or whatsoever, no? We need to make sure that ibalik nato ang dignity sa ilaha. So, for me, wala may problema na mag-dole out or, nagi problema mag-dole out. Wala problema na maghatag ta. Pero hopefully, no, kaning sa sistema nato, sa proseso nato, appeal sila. And then, aside sa appeal sila sa proseso nato is that we give them value. We give them value na dili lang sila beneficiary, but partner. Kung asa na po sila matunan sa ato ang ginabuhat. And naapod, in the future, katong natunan nila, magamit po nila. Dili lang kay for 1 week lang niya maghihatag or for 1 day. So, yeah, basically.
Okay. So, nami research, I studied na nabasa, sir, that one of the most poorest region in the Philippines is ARMM and the province of Tawi-Tawi, where Badjaos abound. Now, highest illiteracy rate in the country, lowest participation rate in school, and the highest percentage of people with no grade completed according to the Philippine Statistics Authority. Now, is there any initiative that focus on education of those in the community?
Yes. Basically, Jezebel Philippines naman, we are also focusing on education kasi meron kaming 5 pillars. Like, ang aming pinakataas talaga is marine conservation efforts or environmental conservation. Pero isa sa aming mga pillars ay ang education. So basically, tama. No? Tama ang research. Nag-start naman ang mga Sama Badjaw sa Tawi-Tawi. So, in the Philippines. So basically, dito nakikita namin na hindi lang siya about education. Hindi lang siya about pag-aaral. Pero makikita mo yung systemic problem na wala silang makain before they go to school. Na wala silang pambaon or wala silang uniform before going to school. That's why they skip school. Pero on a deeper level, wala silang documents, wala silang birth certificates, wala silang ganito. Pero on the deeper level, deepest level is that instead of going to school in a day, they wanted to help their family, have a meal to eat.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that's the reality po, sir, no? Even beyond sa Sama Badjaw na tribe, even to the rural areas. Kasi to us, future educators, perminti po na ma-encounter ma-problem kay dito sa mga rural areas yun, na mo na ginapili nga option na lang sa families and to children, sa mga children nga, dili na lang mo eskwela, pero pilion na lang ang makatabang sa family. So, medyo relate niya na sir, area sa...
Diba? Yeah, basically, tama yun. Tama gito, no? So, sistema gid siya. Na problema to sa ilang edukasyon, pero sila, yes, gusto naman mag-eskwela, pero napod nila yung problema.
Talking about education, sir, naabay mga individuals in the community na naa sa school karon, whether it be in elementary or may record sir na those na nakagraduate kay naa sa sa deaf community that there is first graduate LPT nakapasa sa. So we wanted to know if napod din ana sa community sa Sama Badjaw.
Yes, very proud din no. Kay makita nato na ang sa ginaingon nato na illiterate.
Yes.
Pero pasalamatan na yung mga tao nakagraduate to break that stigma. Isa, ang pinaka-first Sama Badjaw teacher yun. Dala sa Sama Badjaw community sa Matina, Aplaya. So, for her privacy, hindi na ba yung kanya pero basically, grabe ka-instrumental ni ate, ni ma'am, ni teacher. Sige, Teacher Melody yung pangalan. Ayan. Si Teacher Melody, grabe ka-instrumental. Kay, aside from nakauman siya og eskwela, isa po siya ka-inspiration sa mga bata nga natin tuwa. And for being an inspiration during pandemic, ang pinaka-initiative ato is that to help them with their education. Kay basically, nakita nato ang spin sa against the Sama Badjaw during pandemic. Kaya remember mo atong murag, Badjaw nakatakas na positive sa COVID-19, right? So, kato sila, because of that, na-close ilang community. So, wala sila gipagawas. Even mangisda, dili sila pwede. So, ato na time, aside from like food, ang ato ang gusto isiguro kay ang pag-eskwela sa mga bata. So, basically, nag-consult me with teacher, kay ma'am na unsa ba yung inyong need and everything. So, ang ilang need kay printer, kay module man to, di ba? So, daghan kay sila i-print. Kailangan nila og coupon bond and other school supplies. So, basically, because of that, information na provide nato na sa ilaha. And, daghan siya og natudluan na elementary, preschool, ug high school sa community.
So, curious ko sir, if ang inyong organization na nag-provide for them or the government, like DepEd in particular?
Kami yun, ang nag-provide sila katong mga ang Jezabel yun, ang nag-provide sila katong mga printers and other school supplies. Maybe, basig na ay other initiatives po ng government na wala lang may kabalo. Pero sa amang part, ang kabalo lang na, we provided these things. Ang pinaka na-appreciate nila aside sa printer, kay katong cabinet, kay nag-aulan man gud sa ilaha. So basically, kailangan nila na katong mga modules matago. So, especially nga di ba nakalock gani sila. So asa tuloy mo ta? Silang balay or sa kalsada or di ba? At least na cabinet din sila. Mga siya pinaka na-appreciate.
Okay, so let's go with the third question.
Are there small-scale or community-led projects that, despite being overlooked, have created meaningful and lasting impact?
Basically, I don't want to like mag-alsa o bangko para sa Jezabel. Pero sa daghan-daghan naman po na projects and programs nato with the communities. Personal favorite yun daw katong economic empowerment. Dahil nagkatong sa mga mangingista sa bangka with motorized, no? Kay kato siya gipangayo gid nila. And actually sila pa ang naghatag og measurement, sila pa ang naghatag kung unsa ang structure, kung unsa ang materials. Pero basically gusto na mo ipabuhat na to sa ila pero dili siya pwede kay under sa grant mangguto siya. So naanid sila yung supplier. So, yeah, basically, at least sila ang nag-decide kung saan na type of bank kailangan. So,
Okay, let's now proceed to the third part of this podcast. Again, we're going to have the game. Again, circular words. Okay? Education. Next is development. Next is responsive. Learners.
Pagdali na yung kayo para sa ibang words, sir, no?
Partnerships.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the power of education in community development. So this is in community development. So first question, in your view, how does education contribute to improving the quality of life within your locality?
So in my view, how does education contribute to improving the quality of life within your locality? So basically, personal naman siguro nino.
Yeah.
Tama ba?
Yes.
Personal na gid ni siya. Ako man good, I'm coming from a family na dili good, well off. Like, my family needs to work hard to sustain our lives, no? So, ang education,
So dili ka agree sa ginaingon ni Byte King, sir, na may deadline ng pagiging successful.
Later. So, basically, yes. Sa ako, ang education good, makakontribute siya sa pag-improve sa ako ang life. Kay scholar magpugo sa Ateneo. So, without that scholarship, makagraduate ba kaya ako og college, diba? So, through scholarship po, naka-master. So, parang mas dagan ko natunan, mas nakatama ko sa community. So, nakashare ko sa inyo ang mga insights. So, basically, education is very helpful. That's why katong project na mo with the community kung asa scaffolding man ang gibuhat, dili mo gid kami ang nagtudlo. Okay, Badyaw community man ang si Teacher Melody man ang nagtudlo sa mga bata. And government provided them modules or whatsoever. Pero kami lang, support lang gid sa ila kung unsa ila kailangan pa. So with that small project, I believe na that really helped in helping our children na makakuha kung sila og edukasyon sa ilang sarili. Okay, basically, kung wala sila nag-eskwela during pandemic, kung sila ilang ginabuhat, di ba? So, through that, I believe na dako pa siya og contribution. Kaya kung kanino mga tao na nakita gani sa research ganina na gamay kayo literacy rate, ato ang mapa-eskwela, ato especially sa ilang community na mas dool sa ilaha, it could actually contribute to their personal gain, makatuon sila. It will contribute to our statistics, no? Na ay naani ka bala mo basa, nag-additional na taog 0.1% sa atong literacy rate. So basically, kana siya. Education really contributes to the quality of life within this community, especially Teacher Melody, karon na nagtudlo na siya sa public school. And priority gid sila kay of course, panansa lang ang mga IP na makagraduate. So, I believe nakagraduate siya, nakatrabaho siya sa gobyerno, na siya trabaho, na tudloan niya ang mga bata. That's enough proof to witness how education can contribute locally in our own eyes.
Okay, so as someone who's been in the field of leadership, how can local leaders or what can local leaders do to ensure that education is inclusive, equitable, and responsive to the diverse needs of learners? Kasi hindi lang nila kailangan ihatag lang na because this is their right, diba, sir?
Yes.
So, as someone, as a leader, what can they do to ensure that education is inclusive and equitable?
Local leaders na to, hopefully, no? When we say local leaders, no, good, let's specify it sa government.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kaya sila yun, sa ato amang kong structure dari asa, for example, Davao City, ang nagunit yun sa grabe na power when it comes to influence, resources, and policies. Gobyerno yun. No? Naalang ang NGOs dara, especially ang mga na mag-support kung unsay na ay lahatag nila, kung napa ba yung mga gaps na pwede na mong ma-fill in. So basically, para sa ato ang mga local leaders, hopefully, pinaka-first build ang policies nato. No?
Yes.
Kabalutan na si, tingnan na ako, isa ka senator nato, di ba? For example, Hap Aquino, was known and won for free tertiary education. Pero wala kabalo nato, wala pa natarong ang budgetary ato. So basically, kung matarong na to siya, mas paspas na siguro ang pag-process sa CHED and sa mga schools on how to pay these people. So basically, first policy yun. Dira kita mag-start. We need to amend, we need to make it inclusive, we need to make sure that there is equitable scholarships for indigenous peoples and marginalized sectors. And basically, kani siya ng mga bata at ang nahisgutan kanina, wala sila pangkaon, wala sila pamasahe, wala sila uniforme, basta ginabuli pag sila sa school. So basically, academic, especially DepEd, no, magbuhat po sila o mga mechanism on how to make sure that these children are motivated still to go to school. And then lastly, of course, for our local leaders, hopefully, no, mag-reach out gid sila sa community.
Yeah.
Kaya nakita nato karon ng mga local leaders, para lang sila ugnaw, no? Like, mura sila artista na model, na mura gina-praise nato, you are the God and the Savior and everything. Tapos ginaboto nato. But at the end of the day, do this leader really go to the communities?
Yeah.
Do these local leaders really take care or really care for the people that they serve? Or are they really serving, or are they only serving themselves? So hopefully, policy, mechanism, and reaching out for consultation to this community.
Kasi sa mo pong case, sir, special needs education man may. So we have classmates who are deaf na everyday jud na na-encounter as yung mga challenges
We
nila
have
face.
13
Yes,
classmates.
yes, sir. So everyday makita na nilang struggle. So nag-mention man ka sir no kanang mga initiatives sa government, of course policies. So dili po nato malikayan nga kanang materials nga ilang gihatag, ilang mga support gihatag sa these kinds of students kay dira sa mga good sir, even though daghan na population, kami ang pinakadag population sa deaf, but still the school couldn't support that kind of challenges nila
efficiently support.
Yes.
So, mo balik-balik ka na sir na wapo kaya ang inclusivity.
Yes,
Sa
inclusivity.
Pero isud siya, challenge siya, especially if of course, resource limited, trained na mga professionals, dili efficient or kumbaga dili kayo skilled to, so we imbis na maka-help, we tend to mas nalala pa siguro ang situation.
Parang naano lang sir, gas-gas na kayo ang gamit sa inclusivity kasi they just invited, dawat lang ng dawat of different kinds of learners but without support. So, muna to siya, asa man dira makita ang support from the government, asa man dira makita ang ilahang support to give resources kay sa among case sir, isa lang jud ang interpreter for from first year to fourth year, and then every year level dagan mi og deaf
na ay mga deaf.
Pero ikaw po yung nag-start.
Yes, sir.
Actually kami lang nag-assign,
Yes, sir.
That is hard mo, no?
Good morning.
Sige daw, say good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah. Pero, although nakamadyo yung mga pagkukulang, sir, no, it's starting point na nagadawat sa mga learners, na marginalized, PWDs, those na part sa IP community. Pero, we really need to work on the implementation pag sa inclusivity para accessible, quality education na mahatag for these learners.
I agree with you both. Basically, yes. We can't discount the things that are happening right now.
Yeah.
It is a first step towards development or inclusivity na gusto natin mahitabo. Pero tama po siya, no? Tama po ka na. Inclusivity is not just accepting these people na para lang ma-check natin sa itong KPI para inclusive, diverse, and everything. Kailangan po natin mag-provide og efficient support, as you have said, no? And nindot na siya na hopefully ang mga policymakers nato madunggan kung sa inyong mga ginaingon karon, madunggan inyong mga classmates, though di mo sila ka-istorya, pero in a way na masulti po nila kung sila gusto ingon ba. Kay basically kamo man ang nasa grassroots, diba? Kamo man ang nakita. Even ako dili na ako na putay na ako kay ila sa Congress, no? Dili na ako na masuggest because I'm not the person
first hand na
na-experience, Ana. So I agree with you both na we need to recognize that there are steps towards this inclusivity. Pero tama po ka na kailangan nato i-better at one system para mas ma-support sila.
Yes. Okay, so let's have the last question for this part.
So what programs or partnerships, either existing or proposed, can help bridge educational gaps at the grassroots level?
Okay. Actually, sayang kayo ang USAID, no? USAID, ka ba lang may USAID? USAID 2.0, parang dito siya sa mga out-of-school youth. So basically, nag-send sila ng mga children, out-of-school youth sa school, or kung di naman sa school, NC2. Actually, our government have steps in creating more inclusive education system. We have like NC2 para sa mga dili ka college. We have TESDA, no? We have ALS para sa katong mga tiguang na pero wala niya akong ka-graduate of high school. So basically, these things are already in our system. And we need to recognize it as well. Pero at the same time, unsa pa gid ang standard sa Pilipinas para makaingon ta nga qualified ka? Diba? Is it dapat lang ba yun college graduate ta? Or okay lang ba na skilled lang ta na natay NC2? So basically, for the programs and partnerships na maka-bridge sa educational gaps, ang ako alam yun, personal take, Ana, is that we provide quality education sa grassroots level through free education programs. Kay tama mong ginaingan sa social media, like, if mas educated ang voters, mas tama ang tao na ang ibutang sa pwesto. And basically, hopefully lang magdili tama ang ginaingan sa social media na these people na nagalingkod karon sa power are intentionally doing things to bar youth para maging uneducated and illiterate just for them to vote for these people. Okay, basically, hopefully, di nila ginagamit ilang power just to get votes from this vulnerable sector.
Ideal world education.
Ideal world education. So basically, to answer the question, wala kayo ko yung ma-answer na projects or programs na gusto na ko ipaduso. Ang challenge lang nako sa ato ang mga local and national leaders to make sure na ilahag yung gamiton ang ilahang mga influence, resources to reach out.
Yes.
To reach out to the grassroots and bring these grassroots voices to the national so that these voices could amplify change na gusto nato, especially sa atong education system. Kay doesn't mean you are voted, diba? Doesn't mean na naa ka sa pinakataas, kabalo na katanan. Wala ka kabalo kung unsay mulo sa pinakababa.
Yes.
And yeah, so basically, hopefully, sila ang mag-partner kay sila man ang nasa taas.
Okay, so we're done with the third part of our discussion. Let's now proceed to the fourth and the last part. As naginis there.
Sa pinaka-magsumo sa
Young people!
Basic na kayo kay sir.
Empowerment! Engagement.
Yes. Sa
Filipino political culture.
Filipino political culture. Yeah.
Realities.
Realties. Okay, now that we have the fourth topic, the engaging and empowering the youth. So, how many years na ka in being a youth leader?
Ay, ako? 12 years?
Oh,
12 years? Let me guess. Siguro mga 15 years.
Ano kay teenager, sir?
Yes, no? Teenager, pag yun ko ka nagsugod gid ako ang leadership sa aside sa mga schools project, no? Sa simbahan yun, sa Santa Ana Shrine Parish, like, Pangulo sa Batanon or PSV. And then, maong siguro kay, ang moral compass is more of conservative. Conservative, progressive, kay nakita na ako kung unsa ba ka-importante ang kinabuhi, no? So, dami mga progressive things na common issue nato karon na gusto ginani ang mga people and ani. So ako nalipay ko nag-start ko sa church kay para ang moral compass na ako kay rooted gyud dito ako pagka youth leader. Pagkatapos nagsugod na ko sa ang barangay, no? Pagkahuman sa barangay, nag-organize ni og mga events and everything. And ito nakita na ako na tama po ang critic sa mga sangguniang kabataan sa una na they were lessened and reduced into pageant and league organizing body instead of like youth council. After that, sa school, so I was juggling 3 leadership roles.
sir.
Leadership roles in one persona. Pero kato siya, nakahelp to siya tanan, no? Like, the values was rooted sa church, pero the pragmatism, the realities, nakita na ko sa barangay level. Pero the innovation, technology, and kanang resource mobilization, kita ako sa school, especially that Ateneo, no? Tapos mas magka-extra makita sponsorship, and sa sponsorship, kugibot ang. So basically, kato sila tanan. Dito ang start ako.
Okay, so let's have our first question for this topic.
How can Filipino youth become more globally aware while staying grounded in the realities and needs of their local communities?
Yeah, basically, Filipino youth can become more globally aware. Aware lang ba, di ba? So basically, aware na ito. So aware na ito, pwede naman ito magbasa and aware na ka. Okay.
Aware na po.
So, siguro ako ang i-level up ang word na aware, no? How can Filipino youth become more globally engaged, no? While staying grounded in realities and needs of their local communities. So basically, we can be like engaged globally by making sure na madala nato ang ato ang own experience sa local dito sa international. Kaya basically ako, local na maging kayo ang Davao City and everything. Pero these things, katong gi-share na ako sila sa isa sa ako ang mga kay murag napili ko na mag-share no about organization, about kaning kung saan kinabuhat sa isa ka youth leader sa Philippines, napili ko dito. Gi-share na ako sa ila. And you know what? The international leaders would ask me after my talk na, who are you? Like, how do you do this in your country? Kaning, wow, pwede pa di ay na, no? So, parang ako po, na-show ko na, parang normal lang din na ginabuhat ako sa Philippines. Like gusto lang din may pagkabisihan. Normal lang na ginabuhat ako sa Philippines na nag-volunteer me sa communities, no? Na bisibisihan me, kasi ang mga mental health, di nila ka-okay. So, mauna among ways to help the youth. So basically, I stay grounded. We should stay grounded by becoming more engaged sa local community. Daghan ang gawin ko ba na global dayon, malas na kabalo kung ansang issue na ang dalahon. So, pa dyan sila magbintot-bintot. So, akong dalahon dali sa SDG. Ay, ganahan ko.
So, in connection sa mga advice nimo for the youth, sir, no? I-connect na to niya siya gamay sa politics, no?
Wow, politics!
Kay, di ba, when we say being involved in politics, hindi naman siya limited to running for an office, but it's your awareness of everything that is happening sa atong society. Knowing your right to vote, knowing mga technicalities that involves this concept. Now, I'd like to ask her if na kay mga experiences running for a position or kanang
yeah. So basically, nag-grant ko itong 2018. Katong bago lang kibalik ang ang RA, ang SK, RA 10742. So, nag-grant ko ato. And then, yeah, basically, ang ako magkukuha na to, ano na to akong mama na di na ako mag-grant. Kaya basically, dahil mo akong mga leadership roles. Pero kung ginaisip, if you wanted to change the system, you should be part of the system and change from within. Pero as time passes by, na ako gipadagan mang good na naka-output sa system. No? So, ang akong study actually right now sa anthropology is that how progressive youth leaders, when you say progressive, these are not the perfect leaders.
Yeah.
These are leaders na dili sila nagagamit of traditional politics. Or if nagagamit sila, how do they resist? How do they reimagine? Or how do they, reinforce? Sa ako when it comes to politics, nag-grant maging ko SK, magin ako ang gusto tanawon, no? Like, ang youth ba, a mere reflection of traditional politics? Tinuod ba yun na kanang mga small baby buaya sila? Or is SK the first stepping stone towards progress for the Philippines? No? Sumuto siya to ang gusto tanawon. Okay, basically, when we say like leadership, pinaka-local gyud ang barangay. And pinaka-local gyud ang pinaka-draa gyud kay ang SK. So, they can really influence people.
Okay, so, siguro sa culture, daghan mo dyan kaayo maapektahan, sir, no? It could be our sense of belief or kumbaga atong perspective sa isa kabutang. I wanted to ask if you have mga suggestion or advice on how can a youth be more objective rather than a subjective na leader or person.
How to choose like what is our standard. So basically, framework lang po ni Senator Liam Defensor said, in order for you to choose the right leader, wala mo siya yung best leader.
Yeah.
The right leader lang at the right time, you need 3 standards. First, moral excellence. Kaniba na tao na ay issue of corruption. Or kaniba siya na tao baka kung bagay siya sa ilang pamilya, sa ilang mga silingan, no? Second is that academic excellence. Kabaluta, dagat sa Philippines, wala ka graduate or wala ka ano. Pero academic excellence for me lang di lang siya nag-stay sa school.
Yeah.
No? Pwede mo po excellence o academic excellence when it comes to you knowing your community, no? Or academic excellence na kay kabalutang academic manggod is like knowing something na imo nga ma-contribute, diba? So if ikaw how ka na indigenous people, wala ka eskwela, at least you know your people, no? Na kailangan pagalitan nato istadihan, sila kabalo na sila anandaan. Diba? So basically academic excellence, gusto lang na ako i-emphasize na kanina siya nga tao hawod. No? Hawod ba sa inyo PWD, gusto mo na amoy voice, diba? So dapat academically hawod siya. And of course, professional excellence. Kanina ba siya na tao ang iyang work ethics, kaya nagatrabaho yun siya, or basta ginagamit lang niya ang posisyon, kay feeling niya pa rin na siya mag-work from home. Or pwede na siya one day per week lang musulod. Or pwede lang siya mo absent. Diba? So basically, kana ato ang tanaw. Magtanaw ka professionally, kugihan ba ang ato ang ginaboto? Academically, bright ba ang ato ang ginaboto? And ethically or morally, wala ba siya mahid ng mga dili na ito ganahan? Wala mo kung nag-ingon na dapat dili yun siya corrupt or whatsoever. Kaya depende lang na sa tao. Depende man sa yung moral compass. Kung ikaw sa iyong sarili, okay naman ang corrupt. Morally, ikaw bahala na, di ba? That's why ginaingon na to, whoever we choose reflects on who we are. Kaya mo man sila yung mga standard. Diba? So kung feeling mo okay lang ang corrupt na leader, sige, butang mo daraan. No? Pwede lang. So, yeah. Subjective gihapon ang moral excellence.
Okay, so last question, and this will conclude our podcast. What message would you like to convey to youth who are interested in taking on leadership roles in education, public service, and community development? Last questions.
Grabe siya, no? Last din kitang na-istoryahan. Pero basically, ang message lang yun para sa ato ang mga youth leaders is first, kailangan yun mo mailhan kung kinsa ka. Be authentic. Love who you are. Kung pobre mo, okay lang. No? Kung dahil bulok ka, okay lang na. You need to make sure that you do better. Kaya hindi mo ka pwede na mag-lead, nabugo ka, pagkitas bright yung gina-lead. So you will feel small about yourself. Diba? Though gusto ni passionate kay ka, pero yung gina-lead kay mas bright pa sa imo ka. Like, it's an insult for you. Diba? So first, kung feeling mo illiterate ka, you need to make sure na mag-better ka. At least the passion is there. Be authentic, be passionate, and at the same time, know kung unsa ba yung gusto mo hitabo. No, long term. So, kato lang. Tapos, aside from that, start now by asking yourself, kung saan ba akong advocacy? No? Pagtulog, before mo tulog niya, mag-pray mo, Lord, that's ang advocacy, Lord. And the true meaning of successful leadership is being a transformational leadership. What is one of the things for me to say na transformational leadership ka? Na kay successor. So, in order for me to know you na how ka na leader, dapat na kay successor na how. So, di lang pwede na, ikaw lang permanente. Ako lang yung president. Mag-election na tayo. Dito to mag-election. Ako lang president forever. So, basically, the measurement of successful leadership is success. A good success. That's it.
Okay, that concludes our panag-istoryahanay sa Tulo ka Pi, Pamuno, Panahon, o Pananaw. Once again, we'd like to thank you, Sir Mix Marvelous and Hindi Camino, for really sharing your expertise, your knowledge, and mga perspective di mo in your profession and in your field na ginata karon. So, anyone you'd like to thank or recognize for this video podcast?
Gusto lang ako i-thank ka mo, of course. You, Sir, and of course, Jezebel Philippines. Ang tanan na to ang partner, especially sa Jezebel Philippines. And of course, ang Ginoo nung kay... Diretso ko dali ako kung wala ko kamatagalina, di ba? So, sa Ginoo yun. And of course, sa tanan ng mga nagatuog yun sa power sa mga youth. And gusto lang ako i-answer ang question ni mo ganina. Anak si Viking, walay deadline, maging successful sa life. Yes, subjective man good ang success. Pero, daghan ko dagingon no nga, kita, mabot lang yun. Kakaupo, limagin ka. Sa iyo ako, dato mo no. Pero sa ako, kailangan din siya og deadline. Okay, napo ko yung nabasa, dili man po growing youth ang ato ang mga mama o papa. Diba? Sila mga atong motivation nga nung gusto ta maging successful. Para maging proud sila sa ato and at the same time matabangan po nato sila. So basically, for me, na-excited deadline. Pero di nila na magdali. No? Kaya at the same time, enjoy the process until you reach there. Thank you.
Once again, I'm Queenie.
And I'm Janelle.
And thank you so much to our speaker, Mix
Marvelous, Hindi Camilo. Bye.
Bye.